Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project and Magnetic Reversal News, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Thursday, December 19th, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, 2019. That sounds familiar. Keep calm. It's boom time. You're looking at the Snowfall analyzer, and the big winner is the Northeast and the Northwest. And the big story is the atmospheric river approaching Seattle as we speak. Hey, Wyoming, y'all okay? According to Bill Nye, minus 23, while it's minus 23 in Antarctica. Parts of the Upper Peninsula approaching 10 feet of snow already. Snowbanks tower over the sidewalks. The snow keeps mounting up over most areas of the Upper Peninsula. Many longtime residents are saying they've never seen this much snow so early in the season. And this is a sidewalk. Take a look at that. I'm sure many of you have seen the pictures. We're looking at the snowpack versus average west of that region. And you can see that a big drought in the Northwest is about to end. And the rest of the Rockies looking well above average in many regions. Take a look where we're at. 238. And I'll leave you links to the snowpack average for December 18th, 2019. Now let's talk about the forecast. Today through tomorrow, heavy snow in the Northwest. There you can see the totals. And that snow will continue and push east into Washington and British Columbia Saturday and Sunday. And then Oregon and California, the Northern Sierras, will pick up some of that snow. And here's Monday the 23rd through the 27th forecast. It's going to be a white Christmas in the Four Corners region, everywhere west of the divide, including Arizona, New Mexico, and the big winner is Alaska, all the way down the coast of BC, picking up several feet of snow through the holiday. There's the precipitation forecast, and you can see as we get past Christmas, that moisture is going to move into the Midwest through January 1st, and there is, in fact, a blizzard predicted for that region. We'll get to that in a moment. Minus 44 temperature reported overnight in Colorado, and that wasn't a wind chill. That was the actual air temperature before the winter solstice. Temperatures plunged around the state Tuesday morning with minus 34 reported in Waverly, minus 32 in Crowdry, minus 22 in Tabernash, minus 18 in Dillon. It was even colder at Antero Reservoir, where the early morning temps dipped to a teeth-chattering minus 44 degrees. At less than 9,000 feet in elevation. That is the coldest place on the map in my region. Pineapple Express storm to bring flooding snow to the west coast. An atmospheric river is moving to the west, likely to bring menacing flooding, heavy mountain snow, and damaging winds. Oregon and Washington will see the worst of the storm. Here you're looking at frozen bubbles in Abram Lake in Alberta. I never even knew such a thing could happen. Let's open this up for a better view, shall we? There it is. Beautiful. Now, cold, blustery Canadian air, freezing bubbles will leave the Northeast shivering. An active wintry pattern is set to continue across the Northeast as cold, snowy, and blustery conditions at times will persist into the weekend. Arctic air blasting southeast late this week will come courtesy of an Alberta clipper. I remember that when I was a kid. It's almost like cycles are repeating. Lake effect snow showers will taper off Wednesday night as an area of high pressure settles in. And we're about to get to the models. So hold your horses. Atmospheric river, tropical downpours. Tropical downpours. In unseasonably warm weather to kick off the holiday week. Can you say meridional flow? You've been watching the channel for a while. You know what happens when that jet stream breaks down. You have extreme heat on one side of that jet stream and extreme cold on the other, coming all the way down from the Arctic. And if you want to know more about the science behind atmospheric rivers, check out the article. We're going to not allow you. Arctic cold front brings some zero wind chill temps. Take a look at that. There's your Thursday. Minus 18 to minus 12 in Keene. So it's going to be chilly in the Northeast, to say the least. Now, a Category 3 atmospheric river is headed to the northwest. But I'm not buying that because I'm about to show you the models. You can check out that article for yourself. But here is the total precipitated water through the new year, basically. And that's just not, I've seen way more than that. So just some regions picking up what appears to be 10 to 12 inches in this small pocket. The rest is about 6 to 10 inches of snow water equivalent, which could be up to 10 feet of snow, by the way, in some regions. That's how that works. And here's your snowfall forecast. Through your weekend, there's the big winner up in Washington State. Let me just pause this. And there's going to be heavy snow up here in northern Idaho and on the Canadian border. But there is 4 to 6 feet on the GFS showing here, and just a foot or more in the Sierras at this point. Through your Sunday. And then the snow really picks up into the holiday season. So this is New Year's Eve as the snow moves east through Nevada and Utah. Heavy snow in the Sierras. And then it hits my neck of the woods the day after Christmas, the 28th. And then there's that after Christmas weekend blizzard. Nebraska, Kansas. We're going to keep a close eye on that. Stormy weather in the west, developing system along the Gulf Coast. A series of weather systems will bring heavy lower elevation rain, heavy mountain snow, and strong winds to the northwestern states. Take a look. Winter storm watches and warnings only up there in the northwest. We got a few freeze warnings here in southern Georgia, so heads up if that's in your neck of the woods. You got some plants outside. Cover them up. Scientists, hot take here, Pacific Northwest volcano forecast to erupt within 4 years. And this is scary, but we've already covered this on the channel, and that's the axial seamount, which is forecast to erupt sometime in 2024, 2023. And it's anyone's guess if that could be the trigger to kick off the Cascadia, because it's located right on the rupture zone here. And here would be the Cascadia fault at the subduction. So, interesting things developing here. Seismic update. We do have some activity on the Cascadia. 4.1 in Petrolia. And this is some interesting activity happening over here. 5.5 kicking off in Equatorial New Guinea in Africa. The reason I want to bring this to your attention is because there's volcanoes there. This is south of the Canary Islands, but Pico Basil, formerly Pico de Santa Isabel, is a volcano there that could be about to erupt. This is a basaltic trachytic shield pyroclastic cone, so it's more like Mauna Loa, so it won't be violent or explosive, but it could be very dangerous to people on this island. I don't know if there are any people on the island. Worldwide volcano news update. It appears that there is no significant activity. Sabancaya continuing to puff to 23,000. Klucheskov to 20,000. Check out the link below. And our sun just set a new record for spotlessness, which means very little, because if you watch the channel, you know that was going to happen. We've now had more than 270 spotless days, the lowest solar minimum in over 100 years. And it's only going to deepen. We will recover in cycle 25, but cycle 25 probably will not be as high as cycle 24. And at the same time, the magnetosphere will be waning. And we got a white screen. Okay, refresh. Wonder if the internet's out. There you are. Nope. So this is just another fraud article, but I can't bring it up. Everything's gone white here. Climate politics is a dead end, so the world could turn to this desperate final gambit. They're talking about geoengineering. Can you believe that? Read the article. It's crazy. Things are about to get crazy up in here. Yep, that won't load. Basically, it was an article about glaciers, but we'll get to that in a different podcast because we seem to be freezing up. Man, this hasn't happened in a while. More greenhouse gas from organic. I'm sure you've heard of this. Total nonsense. It's not even half the story. Read this article from Rootstock. Very good. There's been a flurry of recent headlines saying that switching to organic will raise greenhouse gas emissions by 20 to 70%. Those studies are fraudulent. They're based on false premises and stuff that would never happen. And all the greenhouse gas emissions they're talking about is because they're claiming organic would feed less people, and therefore we would have to import food from foreign countries, which would have to clear-cut forests to plant our crops. Absolutely insane fairy tales coming out from the mainstream. But what else is new? I'm sure you've known that. 6 companies are about to merge into the biggest farm business oligopoly in history. It already happened with Monsanto and Bayer and Syngenta and every other seed company in the world. They are all coming together to poison you and to control the food supply on the planet Earth. And this is even in the face of multi-million and even billion-dollar lawsuits. Roundup lawsuit lawyer is accused of $200 million in extortion plot. Well, who would have ever thought that could happen? Study explores the density of the tectonic plates and why they sink in the Earth's mantle. And this is today's geology lesson of the day. You'll have to read it yourself. That's the lesson. NASA's Mars lander MOLE is now digging again. It had shut down, and they didn't know why. They were baffled. As the Marsquake mystery baffles the scientists. So the baby's digging a little deeper now. As the scientists are baffled. Earth's magnetic pole is officially moving towards Siberia, and scientists are baffled. Where are they getting their degrees? That's all I want to know. They don't even watch the channel. Archaeologists uncovered 12,500-year-old site in Avon, Connecticut, and scientists are baffled. It's amazing. They're baffled. Scientists uncovered the world's oldest forest, and they're baffled. This is in New York State, 365-million-year-old forest. Not really a forest because there were no trees then. These were more like gigantic ferns. Check it out. Good article. Earth has had more major mass extinctions than we realized because before scientists were baffled. But now they're picking it up while we put it down. Check out James Churchward and his Lost Pacific Continent of Mu to learn more about the fantastic stories of Atlantis. Researchers crack Newton's elusive three-body problem. Only they didn't. Because I read the article and they didn't solve the problem. They just got statistically closer to no answer. Oh, which leaves Diamond baffled on how they could actually say they cracked the three-body problem. They didn't. They cracked an egg and they lied in the title. Read the article yourself. They ain't cracking nothing. We are statistically closer to having no answer. It's amazing. I cracked it. I'm baffled. Look at how happy that guy was. China is about to fire up its artificial sun. We covered this many times. It's a plasma reactor similar to that. It's sapphire, only much bigger. And can create temperatures 13 times that of the sun. Or some crazy shit like that, man. It's crazy. And they're going to turn it on. But they're not launching it into space next to our sun, as many people think. This is not going up in the air. It's on the ground in a building. It's a reactor to create electricity. That's in a building. It's not going to be up next to Nibiru. Thankfully. Earliest known cave art by modern humans found in Indonesia could be 44,000 years old, and archaeologists are baffled because it's complex. It's basically showing the zodiac, if I may. Isn't that crazy? 44,000 years ago, we knew about the zodiac, and we learned to farm 8,000 years ago. Okay. Cataract is the third biggest cause of blindness. Religion and politics remain the first two. What are you going to do? Well, you can learn things, which is why I didn't cover most of the topics that you need to click the link below and learn yourself. I'm not going to get into this much either, but it's very important. Coming from Nils Axel Morner, a friend of mine over on ResearchGate, he just published this today, or gave access to it. And I want you to read it and listen to what he has to say. Listen to the science, they say. But what science do they mean by that? Scaremongering or observational-based science? This paper is devoted to the science of the oceans, i.e., the ocean circulation system, with special reference to the Gulf Stream beat, the forces controlling this, i.e., the planetary beat on the sun and the earth, sea level changes, and the nonsense of scaremongering. The following conclusions are drawn. The Gulf Stream beat is a function of the planetary beat on the sun and the Earth-Moon system. Sea level is not in a rapidly rising mode, and there is not a single point on Earth where a true acceleration in sea level has been observed. 3. The changes in sea level shown an opposed trend between the northern hemisphere and the equatorial region on a grand solar cycle and on the 60-year cycle. And 4. Let us forget all the trouble about CO2, which has, no effect on ocean circulation, no effect on sea level, and probably no effect on temperature. For the near future, we foresee a new grand solar minimum at around 2030 to 2050, when climate will return to cool conditions, a new little ice age, and a sea level at year 2100 of about 5 centimeters, which poses no coastal problems at all. I'll leave you links. Now, did you hear about the display dome covering the Russian meteorite Chelyabinsk? It levitated, and it levitated at the same time that another piece of the meteor came across Earth. You can't make it up. In fact, you can watch the video of the dome levitating right here. I wonder if it'll let us watch it. Okay. Let's blow it up. There you can see the rock. Oh, there it's levitating. Let's get that back here. Let's watch that pop right off of there. Okay. Take a look at the plexiglass dome here. Oh, it just went away. Man, that was good. Keep your eye on the prize. There it goes, straight up off. That's all it wants to see, so that's all we're going to get. But you can see the dome levitating. If it interests you, check out the article and do your own research. I can't get this to stop. Okay, always remember you can hit escape. Now, before we end, I'm about to do some videos that will be very eye-opening. And it has to do with solar minimums, cosmic rays, the connection with beryllium-10 and cooling, and the direct correlations, which are around the world, in everyone's face, and no one talks about it because it's antithetical to the current narrative. But there's very clear evidence that there's a direct connection between magnetic reversals, grand solar minimas, and ice ages. And we're living the sea level fall surface of the next glacial period right now. And I can pretty much prove it to you based on the last 400,000 years of high-resolution data coming from Antarctica and Greenland. And so if you're interested in that type of stuff, check out the videos. Coming soon. Microdosing LSD for Alzheimer's proves safe in early human trial. And that's boom. Hope you got something out of the video. Think outside of the box. I want to say thank you to all of our Patreons that stick with us, all of our one-time donors, everyone that shares these videos. Happy holidays. Do something nice for someone. And don't expect anything in return. See what happens.